Are you in the mood to cry? Are you in the mood to get so mentally fucked up that you cry? Do you want to cry? I've got the book for you. It's called What Are You Going Through by Sigrid Nunez. This book, absolutely 10 out of 10. Excellent. It's going to make you cry. It's gonna make you cry. I don't know how to say it another way. This book is incredible. Sigrid Nunez, you are wow, wow, wow. This book is about a woman who is really fascinated with the relationships in her community, like neighbors, old lovers, conference speakers, Airbnb hosts, terminally ill friends, the daughters who are estranged from the terminally ill friends, cats who belong to the Airbnb host, who then narrate entire tales filled with woe. Not since Daniel Deronda has a cat so eloquently elucidated its tale of woe. You can't see my hand, but I'm doing hand movements. This book is phenomenal. It's spectacular. I went to the nude beach at Barcelona. It's called Marbella if you're a fellow homosexual. And I went to this beach and I thought, I'm going to just read all day surrounded in my element. And I read this book and I was just absolutely flabbergasted. I was flummoxed, bamboozled, transfixed. It is a prose style that is sparse, sparing. She tells you something and doesn't overly explain it. She trusts her reader to have such mental dexterity that they are able to put together the pieces of the little puzzle that she's building. I would dare say this book is a 10 out of 10. I can't wait to read her entire catalogue. This book came to my life because I went to a bookshop, as one does, in the Gothic Quarter here in Barcelona. And I went up to a man and I asked him in Spanish. I said, I want to read a Spanish author. I want to read a book that's been impactful, perhaps even a book that you love. I would love to know what you love. You work at a bookstore, so clearly you know what's going on. I used to work at a bookstore myself, and I also knew what was going on. I gave such fire recommendations. I changed lives, babes. And this man was like, well, how about this one? And then, oh yes, you must read Sigrid Nunez. And I was like, Sigrid Nunez? I've heard that name, but I don't really know him. He's like, you should start with this one. What's he going through? And I was like, okay, yeah. And then the book opens with this fantastic, this woman goes to this it's a spoiler, which I do. I'm just going to say she goes to a man's reading for an essay. He has an essay and then a book, and he's like a public intellectual, and he's talking about how the world is essentially flummoxed, fucked. And it's so well articulated. And then when put in the context that this book came out right before the pandemic, like this woman, she's a seer. She's a fellow bruja. She knew what was going on. She knew. This cat also knew. This cat actually plays a very large role in the book. You might think, random cat on the cover. This cat has its own monologue, and that's not an exaggeration. I'm just saying this book is phenomenal, and if you haven't read it yet, what are you doing? You listen to Billy Butcher. Billy Butcher says go read it. The gay Billy Butcher, just to be clear.